Hi everyone, I'm back again. I've not filmed videos for so long and then suddenly they're all coming at once. This is actually a requested video. So I recently posted a video or a little while ago about the Earth Alchemy Oracle, which I picked up last summer, which is created by Wright and illustrated by Nikki. And I think in that video I mentioned that I already had their Spirit Animal Wisdom, so by the same creators, and I've been asked if I do a walkthrough. So here we go. This is where we're at. So there is, as I say, this is mentioned in other videos. So if you want to have a look and look back, we're going to focus on the Spirit Animal Wisdom today. So this was the first deck I came across by this pairing by Nikki and Casey Jane. I absolutely cannot remember at all how I found it. It was some random kind of shown to me on Etsy or something like that. I just came across it and I was really drawn to the artwork and to the cards, and it was one of my earlier decks in terms of sort of in my collection, so I have had it quite a while. I have to admit I've not used it very much lately because I've been using other decks, but I still like it, and it isn't one that I'm parting with currently. So it is still available as far as I'm aware. Although I bought it direct from Nikki, it was produced so that you can buy it on places like Amazon and other sellers as well. And I think you can get it. So I'm in the UK. Nikki is also in the UK, but I do believe you can get it overseas as well. So the Spirit Animal Wisdom, a 50 card deck and guidebook, comes in this really nice hard box. So if you've picked up the Earth Alchemy as a result of seeing, or you've picked that one up first, very much the same sort of thing. 2-piece hard box, very simple. It is produced by a company called Octopus Books. So they have a UK and a USA website. So Spirit Animal Wisdom, call in the wisdom of your spirit animal guides with this beautiful deck of oracle cards and a guide to their messages. And it's very much actually about that spirit, about sort of working with animal guides. But to be honest, I really like the way the animals are portrayed in this. I find them very naturalistic. It has tucks here, and the box is beautifully coloured. You'll see that it's kind of got this beautiful colours, there's flowers here. So let's put the lid to one side. So we get, as always, a nifty little guidebook and the cards. Now these cards are bigger than the Earth Alchemy cards, I think, if I remember rightly. So they've gone, yeah, so they've gone down. So that's my only criticism of the Spirit Animal, was just that the cards were on the large side. Let's get them out of the box. But having said that, you know, there are many oracle cards that are even bigger. So these are the backs, these great fantastic colours. They're not a thick cardstock. I don't know a lot about cardstock. They work for me. You know, it's one of those, isn't it? So for 50 cards, it's not a particularly thick deck. But you know, they're easy enough. They're just a little bit big, but not too big, so they're easy enough to shuffle. That way, I riffle a bit. So yeah, so okay, so guidebook wise, so as always, you've got your contents. Now, another slight thing with this is that for some reason, I'm not sure if they're grouped in elements, but unfortunately the cards are not in alphabetical order in the guidebook. So I do find, unless I find it by chance, I have to refer to the index, and that annoys some people. But you know what, it's not a difficult thing to go to the index. It's right at the start and just have a look. The guidebook's actually in black and white, but that's not a problem. Talks about sort of how Casey worked with the animals, sort of what you do before you begin, how to use the deck, usual sorts of things, layouts, prompts, a couple of spreads. There's a little bit here about the elements, so all the cards sort of reference the elements as well, which is quite nice. There's a bit of a reference here to connecting in meditation. And yeah, so, and at the, if I remember rightly, yeah, no, so that's it. And there's a copyright information at the back. So there's a nice little introduction, and then basically each card has a page. So you get the animal's name, the animal's element, you get a keyword, a key phrase, elements, you get a meaning, so as well as a word. So here for dolphin, I'll show this on the card as well, you get Atlantis, element being water, and then healing wisdom is surfacing, stop and listen. And then there's a little bit about dolphins. This, in this case, it relates to Atlantis. It talks about kind of when the dolphins might come to you, and a little bit to reflect on. And it also references the crystal companions in the book as well, so you could use it alongside the earth alchemy. So yeah, and it does that, a page for every animal with the same elements to the page. And then the cards. So these, as you've just seen, I've just shuffled them anyway. They're not in the order of the book or the order they came out. Let's just see. Bear with me a second. Let's see if I can zoom in without losing the cards altogether. Move them across. So hopefully that's... trying to get it close without losing the card. That should be close enough. Okay. So I remember being drawn to how the animals were portrayed. They're painted. They're very naturalistic to an extent. You can tell someone's drawn them and painted them, which I really like. I find there's some animal decks where they just kind of, because they're computer generated, they don't necessarily have that feel. So I really just liked the feel of this as an animal deck. It also has a really broad spread of animals in. So if I just check back to the guidebook, yeah, so you get a dragon. You get things like a turtle, you get a unicorn. So the spread of animals is fantastic as well. So let's have a look at the card. So here's your whale. So your whales, obviously, you've got your top half of your card is your picture, and then your animal name, your elemental symbols, this keyword here, and then this one says show compassion and forgive what needs to be forgiven, and it talks about tenderness. You've got these whales swirling in the depths of the water here. Here you've got monkey. Now, my only little criticism with this card is that, to me, that's an orangutan because he's all orange, but that doesn't matter. And also that has great significance for me because when we got married, we went to Malaysia on honeymoon and we saw baby orangutans in the trees just like this. So my only thing here is just that, to me, but it's probably another kind of monkey. Don't get me wrong, and it's a beautiful drawing again, but monkey in a child, don't take life too seriously. And I actually think that the other thing I like about this is quite often the keywords and phrases I find quite well thought out. You know, I definitely feel we live quite near a very popular zoo in the UK, and the chimps there, you know, that sense of play, that sense of relaxing that you get from a monkey. This is going to take forever if I talk about every card in this way, isn't it? Here you've got a beautiful eagle, talks about ancestral healing. Now I know in the book it talks about, I think, Katie Jane. Let me look back. Yeah, it talks about here, the process of speaking to animal spirits has happened as an organic process. I have an Native American spirit guide who has been with me most of my life called Natua. Apologies if I said that wrong. He is a wise elder, a Cherokee Indian. In order to meet with the animals, I went on a shamanic journey to meet Natua in a safe clearing we created on the spirit plane. And it goes on about that. So there's obviously, you know, that the eagle, that, you know, to me, that links into that quite nicely. It talks about ancestral healing. Ancestors are holding a space for you to heal your past. Beautiful wingspan here. So I just like the drawing, the artwork a lot. Wolf. And the scenes that they're put in, you know, very realistic. And again, look at these, and also I think for me as well that the choice of animals was a bit more varied. You know, there's not, I don't know how many decks have leafcutter ants in, and I've seen leafcutter ants, and this idea of, here's another fantastic one, leafcutter ant, army of life, ask for help, seek support, you're not alone. I don't know, you know, how many of you've seen them, but the way leafcutter ants work together to gather the leaves and take them back to their mounds is fantastic. Polar bear. Beautiful sky on that one. So I'm not going to read every one of these, I promise. We've got a cat. This cat's a little bit Egyptian, isn't it? I think you can see that. And you just get, I just get the sense of the animal. I have to say, so here you've got your dolphin and Atlantis that I was looking at the guidebook page before. I think what I find is that I really see that sense of, yeah, that's what dolphins do. You know, look at the frog clinging to the tree, you know, and there's just, to me, I haven't used this for ages, but it's just reminding me how lovely these images are, and speaking things to me. I think that's what I like about this deck for me. And I haven't, you know, I have got, in fact, recently I've got the Wild Unknown Spirit Animal. I haven't had that one out, but I know that one's much more sort of diagrammatic. So this is nice and scenic as well. And you could use this just on its own. You could have this as a card of the week or the day. And it's kind of journaling, you know, some of these tune into the energetic grids around you. Where can you send your energy for healing? And that's what I like about this as well. That's not a scary spider either, can I just say. I've seen some decks with spiders and I'm just like, ugh. Butterfly. Again, look, emerging. I just think they're so, well, this is just me, and I'm gushing a little bit, but I do like this. I'd forgotten how much I like the link. I think the problem I had when I was using it was just that I thought it was beautiful. I love the words, but then I didn't actually know how to use them. You know, for myself, when I saw, look at that penguin. I hope you can see the cards beautifully. I'm trying to keep it reasonably close without missing it. It's a hard job sometimes. So we've got a sea turtle there. And think about the turtle he met in Nemo. Sorry, I'm off again. Flamingos. Snakes. So if you don't like snakes, turn away. This one's Kundalini Rising. I have to say, the only thing I would say is just to be aware that because it's reasonably thin, sometimes it just catches a little bit, so the edge is slightly niggled there, kind of honeybee. This talks about divine feminine. Kangaroo. I also like the fact that these are animals from across the world, you know, eagles to kangaroos to ladybirds. So there are creatures and animals in here that I recognise and associate with. There are creatures that I know that I'd never see in my country, you know, so I quite like the fact that it's a real mixture. Look, and from the largest to the smallest, look at this field mouse. So beautiful. Look at the little mouse on the wheat. Squirrel. I quite like it's a red squirrel as well. Not one of the dratted greys that likes to take all the birds' food. Look at the elephant. This one's grounding, and I always think of that. I just think of that lolloping along, dum-da-dum. Sorry, I get carried away, don't I? Here is a giraffe. And this is totally where you'd see a giraffe, you know, and you can tell, like, these backgrounds are just, you know, I think they're so well done, personally. And I'd forgotten. Thank you to the person who did ask me to do this, because, as I say, I've not really had it out for a while, and I'd completely forgotten how beautiful this deck is. So maybe I think it might be one I get out kind of maybe in this bit later in the spring, when I want to kind of feel that. Oh look, we see even the dog, and like, okay, I'm not saying this to be harsh because I couldn't draw this, so that dog's not necessarily perfect, if that makes sense, but you know, it's kind of, look at the care and attention, and you just get a sense from, I don't know, it's just, I just think it's so beautiful. And the phoenix, I love phoenixes. So again, another kind of what do you call it, like fantasy creature, fantasy animal, mixed in with all these others. So the beautiful cranes. So we've got cranes flying over here. Look at the sloth. I love that this one's called Digital Detox. I think I should have that just on my desk permanently, to be honest. A starfish. It's also great that these decks have plenty of cards. You know, this is a 50 card deck, and I can't remember how many cards are in the Earth Alchemy, but you know, it's not short of cards. There's a couple of decks I've looked at with sort of, you know, there's a gorgeous one with made by British creator, but it has less cards, and I haven't clicked go on it yet because I'm very aware I've got this one. Deer. I think that's the one on the, yeah, on the back of the box, and they use that kind of floral around the box, which is lovely. Chameleon. Dragon, look now, isn't that a beautiful dragon? Gaia's Gateway, access Earth's inner wisdom. A lovely hair with its big long ears sticking up. Apologies again if I keep going up. Got a swan, in fact we've got multiple swans there. We've got a bear. The only thing about that one, actually, just looking at it now, is that she'd obviously drawn another swan here and it's had its head cut off because it doesn't quite fit in the card, which is kind of a shame, really, but never mind. Bear. Plodding along. Horse, look at that, and that's, you know, a horse free, good free spirit. Free to run, free to roam. And the lion. Beautiful lion. We've got a little hedgehog. So again, look at that, the contrast between this massive wild animal, to me, you know, places like Africa, and then a hedgehog I might see on my driveway. I just think that's really lovely. This some llamas here. I've forgotten most of these. I think I don't ever properly look through these decks. You know, look at all these little rabbits. Boing, 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 boing. Beautiful antelope with its antlers. This is another favourite. I love this otter. Look at that. Floating along. Floating along. Something in its little hand, little paws. This peacock, very regal. Got bats. I also like the fact that in some of them it's not just like, oh, here's a bat, you know. So because it's scenic, you know, you've got lots of them where you've got multiple animals, which I think is really nice as well, because sometimes you just go, oh, here is a bat, you know, and this kind of, it gives more, to me, you can use it more as a sense and get a feel for what's going on and what the bats are doing, and it might trigger memories more so than just seeing a black bat on a page. And the fish, because I can feel them swirling around a pool hunting for food, so they're koi carp. And we've got an owl, so the owl's not just sat on a branch, it's in flight, it's coming the sight, and you can kind of, oh, I'm getting carried away now, aren't I? And then a tiger, and the sense that you can only just see the tiger in the trees, it's like it's hidden. So that is the 50 cards of the Spirit Animal Wisdom deck. I've gushed about a few of them. I can never just do a flip through. I haven't used it for ages, as I say, and when I do get it out, I remember how lovely the illustrations are. They're so beautiful, and as I say, I really like the fact that they're done with kind of a sense of scene, a sense of where the animals are, what they're doing, how they're behaving, not just a single animal drawn on a card on a page. You really get a feel of different, you know, times of the day, different year, and I do think that a lot of the words are beautifully aligned to, see, here's another one with the cranes. There's not just one crane in the middle, and I think that's really lovely. So I hope that you like what you see. I do recommend it. I believe you can still get the deck. I hope you can. If you're in the UK, I'd highly recommend checking out Nikki on Etsy, because she does do some lovely stationery as well, and other bits and pieces, and I'm sure if you're abroad you could as well, but you know, the illustrator Nikki does other things as well. I've had some other stuff off her, and yeah, do let me know if you pick this one up. Do let me know if how you're getting on with it, if you're working with it, and indeed if you pick up the Earth Alchemy and work with that as well. And I hope that this has been useful to you, and do let me know if you want me to revisit any of it, you have any questions, or you want me to check out any of my other decks. But for now, I shall say goodbye.